Welcome to the Card Text, an unofficial podcast about Marvel Champions at the LCG. We cover rules discussions regarding gameplay and aim to help fans of the game better understand the inner workings of their favorite Marvel card game. This is the Card Text. This is going to be, I believe, episode 11, but don't quote me on that. Sinister Motives is the new box. It's got 2 heroes and I believe 5 villains as usual. So the 2 heroes are Morales with the Justice aspect. That's Miles Morales Spider-Man. Gwen Stacy Ghost Spider has the Protection aspect. And the villains, the Sinister Six members, so guys like the Sandman, Kraven, Doc Ock, all of those people. So that's what's in the box. So today we're doing something a little different on this episode. Still joined by same usual crew, myself, and Scott and Thriller.
Hey everybody.
Hello. So yeah, we're going to do something a little different today. We each picked out a card to talk about from the recent spoiler article. And we will just give some thoughts and chat about it for a little bit.
Who wants to be the first to go with their card? Should we do like rock, paper, scissors? Let's go alphabetical order. A Discord name is Apotropeg, so I'll go first. So my card is an event card from the Ghost Spider Heroes set, I guess, and it is Pirouette and Punch. 2-cost event, skill traded, hero interrupt. When a card is revealed from the encounter deck, deal damage to the villain equal to 1 more than the number of boost icons on that card. Cancel that card's when revealed effects. So yeah, I like this card because it, I guess at lowest, it does 3 damage for 3 cards, which isn't bad. And if you do get that proc of the when revealed effect, it's an added bonus. I think in multiplayer it's even stronger because you're going to be seeing more encounter cards, so you get more chances to have it fully, its full value count when you play it. I think at most it could do like 5 damage if you get one of those spooky horror boost icon cards. And it cancels, the cancel on it, that cancels a when revealed effect. That can happen for pretty much any card type, as long as it's coming from the encounter deck and it has that when revealed. You just got to look at the bottom, even if it has at the bottom of the card for the icon, even if it has 0 boost icons, you still do 1 damage, right? Yeah. So I really like this, and I like the theme on the title here. Pirouette is kind of like a spin. So spinning and punching, you're avoiding the when revealed, and you still deal a little bit of damage. I think that's nice. And that's my event.
I think I especially like the cancel any card. It's nice to have it branching out from just canceling treacheries when revealed to hit some of the head schemes or minions.
Yeah, it's a nice variation on that theme.
Yeah, it's a nice effect. It's well costed. I like it. Yeah, as you said, you're going to do at least 1 damage, and you're going to be cancelling something most of the time. I mean, obviously, you're not going to play it if there isn't a when revealed effect to cancel anyway.
Probably not.
I mean, you still could, though. You could play it just for the damage and the ready, assuming you're exhausted. It's interesting in that it can be worth it. Like, if you get a 3 boost minion or something with no when revealed.
Yeah.
4 damage and a ready for 2, still good.
That's pretty good, yeah. Okay, so we'll go on to the next card, which will be Scott's card.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to cheat slightly. I'm going to pick 2 cards. My cards are from the Miles Morales Spider-Man set, and it's Agent 13 and Field Agent. And when I read them, I think you'll see why I'm picking both of them together. So Agent 13 is basic ally, 4 cost. She has 2 thwart, 1 attack, and they both have a reminder star because she has a response. After Agent 13 attacks or thwarts, choose a shield support, and then cost arrow, ready that support. And as you might have guessed, Field Agent is a Justice support, 1 cost, and has the shield trait. Uses 3 backup counters. Hero Interrupt. When a shield ally would take any amount of consequential damage, exhaust Field Agent and remove 1 backup counter from it. Cost arrow, prevent 1 of that damage. So I think these are going to work together really nicely. You're going to be able to use Agent 13, say, to thwart. Oh, and I should have said she has 4 health. So just alone, she can thwart for 8. But if you've got Field Agent in play, you can use her an additional 3 times. So that's 14 thwart, 7 attack for a 4 cost. Really nice. Yeah, and Field Agent itself is really cheap to get down, so you can almost discount the 1 cost on that entirely.
Yeah, this card, Agent 13, you did cheat a little bit, but it's hard to talk about these cards for Miles, the Justice set, because it's hard to talk about just the one card because they all seem to work kind of in tandem. They all have like a really big combo that you could do because they all play off of each other. She's also shield traded and spy traded. Yeah, she looks like she will do a lot of work just readying something else, like Helicarrier, give you an extra Helicarrier. So basically using Helicarrier twice. And then she doesn't take the damage with Field Agent. You could also run a first aid or 2 in case that you don't see the field agent right away, or you just want to do a couple of healing if you need to on her to make her last longer. But I don't see her ever really leaving the board, at least not very often. But that's a really good, and she's basic, so anybody can take her. I think she's best if the hero is going to have the shield trait, probably. I think. Maybe. Yeah, because generally those heroes that have the shield trait are going to have some kind of shield support or another card with the shield trait on it, and they could ready that too. For example, I've heard people talk about War Machine and his Bunker, I believe, has the shield trait. Black Widow and Safe House 29, I believe is the number. That's really good. You just get cards and cards. Amazing.
The broadness of the shield support ready is awesome. But yeah, I think the fact that brought in the Field Agent to prevent her consequential damage, meaning you can use her more often. The fact that you can ready it back again and then use it on any other shield ally or in conjunction with some of the other cards that we're not talking about, but the exhaust shield cards for other purposes, right? And so you can prevent her consequential damage and then still use it in these other pieces is nice too. There's a lot of ways that they combo together. So I think the shield trait decks will be really interesting.
Yeah, I can't wait to play them. And it gives more value to this card that I kind of denigrated in the past, Surveillance Team. Get an extra use out of it. So it's not bad. All right, so that was Scott's card. Urel, you ready with yours?
All right, so my card is from Ghost Spider's protection cards. It's Silk, alias Cindy Moon. She's a 2-cost ally with 1 thwart and 1 attack and 2 health. She's a Web Warrior. After you play Silk from your hand, if you control another Web Warrior card, you can search the encounter deck for a treachery and discard it. And I just love the idea of being able to kind of preempt the treachery that you really don't want to see. I like this thing being added to protection. I hope that it's something that they develop more of. We kind of had Get Over here for a long time, or not Get Behind Me, to be able to be kind of the treachery cancel. But I'm looking forward to protection branching out a little bit, and this feels like maybe a hint in that direction to be able to do that. The other thing I really like is the fact that it's a Web Warrior card. I think that's true of the shield stuff too, that comes up. But this idea that doesn't need to be a character. It doesn't need to be, the hero or the ally. So whatever, Web Warrior supports or upgrades they come up with, these cards will all be able to work together. I think that's kind of a nice shift to not be so particular about the type of the card.
But yeah, this is more deck manipulation stuff, and from an aspect or in an aspect that already has stuff that can play with a deck. As you mentioned, Get Behind Me, and is that really the only card from Protection that can help you in that way? Like avoid
Black Widow. She can avoid any old counter card. But, they've had a little bit of it, but it's just those are both core cards, and I don't feel like they've expanded that aspect of the protection aspect very much since then. Kind of we've got a few like basic Heimdall who can knock one off the top of the deck, and Spycraft Injustice, and so it's there's other things that do it, but it feels like a place for protection to be able to do something other than just defend attacks.
And she's a 2-cost. Those 2-cost allies are always very good.
Yeah. Can never complain about another 2-cost ally.
I don't know if did we mention the resources on the cards that we mentioned or we brought up?
We didn't know.
Okay, mine was a mental. That was Pirouette and Punch. Scott's
Agent 13 is a physical. Field Agent is a energy.
And then Silk is an energy resource. Yeah.
I wonder with Silk, how often are you going to choose anything other than Shadow of the Past?
Well, certainly Under Fire is up there if you're playing Expert. But even then, I think, although so far the cards that I would consider other than that are not treacheries. Like the ones that come to mind are cards like Fanaticism or even Charge in Rhino. But even, you might want to take out, for example, in Crossbones, you might want to take out an auto, full auto. Because there's these game-ending treacheries, right? I think it's definitely a card that rewards deck knowledge. It's one that is really going to reward you for knowing what your worst possible scenario is. But it's got to be far-reaching enough because you're going to take it out of the deck. It's not a card that you were going to see immediately. It's a card that you might see eventually. I'm trying to figure out what that's going to be, the worst-case scenario.
And it is limited, so there would be some, could be some cases where you've already discarded Shadow of the Past as a boost card. So in the case you play Silk when it's already in the discard pile, then you will only be able to search the encounter deck. And like Theo said, you might want to hit full auto or some other card. That'll be more beneficial.
There's a lot of it's a card with a lot of playroom, so I enjoy that about it. I'm looking forward to that about it, rather.
And it's just a response. You could also use it on your alter ego side if you had to flip. That's not bad. Generally, I think Protection really wants to stay on the hero side, but that sounds like an advantage to me.
Yeah, I find myself going alter ego probably once or twice a game with Protection, a 3-player game. It's not. You're not there that much, but it's always nice to be able to play cards when you're there, and not have to deal with the fact that they don't work.
So, should we close out there?
I did wonder whether we should actually talk about it. Are there any rules issues with the cards we've picked?
I don't know if I want to talk about that. You want to give your thoughts on that, Scott?
I think Field Agent is maybe one of these cards that has the most interesting rules going on with it, because it's preventing consequential damage, and that has interactions with things like tough statuses, right? Where, as far as I can tell, tough goes before Field Agent, right?
Mm-hmm. Just because it has priority over other effects with the same timing.
And presumably taking consequential damage is the actual damage happening that tough responds to. Not like there's this take consequential damage window that gets opened and then the damage happens. that would change it, right? If somehow would take consequential damage was slightly separate from the actual physical damage going on the card. I don't think that happens.
I don't think that happens either. I'm trying to think of another effect that, well, anytime you, even if an ally did have tough, when they would take it, it would just come off with the application of the damage, right?
Yeah.
So as normal, that would happen whenever you take consequential damage. You just want to make sure your allies aren't tough if you got Field Agent out, I guess, because otherwise it's a waste of the tough. So moving away from the tough Field Agent interaction, what about Field Agent and Agent 13?
I think there's a slight question over the timing of those two in particular.
She readies it first, right?
That's the question. Is it first or is it after consequential damage?
It's before consequential damage, just like Tigra. Bulk is before consequential also, right?
Yes, the Agent 13's response will happen before her consequential damage. So Field Agent would have to be exhausted for Agent 13 to affect Field Agent.
That's a good point. I was playing them in reverse in my head, reverse order.
Yeah, but that's a good combo, right? Because it readies the Field Agent before she takes the damage.
So if it got exhausted for some reason, then you can always use it to stop Agent 13 taking damage. If a treachery exhausts all your supports or something.
Yeah, or if you decide to use it on something else, a different ally.
In that case, you just have to make sure that you're sequencing correctly.
Yeah.
If you're the one exhausting it, it's just a sequencing problem, right? You want to use Field Agent first, then use Agent 13 and use it on her.
Yeah.
So then, if you did use Agent 13 and it was already ready, and you wanted to use Field Agent to block the consequential damage,
she's going to have to ready something else if Field Agent is ready when she starts.
Got it. But yeah, that will be tricky, working out the timing, making sure you do it legally, if you care to.
If that's your goal.
Exactly.
Play how you want.
So any rules issues with Silk? Silk seems pretty straightforward. Scott, you said Pirouette had was the interrupt timing issue?
Yeah, I mean it comes up with any interrupt when. Yeah, the rules aren't really clear about exactly how that timing works, but you have to sort of wait until the thing is just happening, and then you trigger the ability that interrupts it. Yeah, as opposed to when something would happen, those trigger before the thing that's triggering it even starts to happen. It's sort of right at the point of initiation, whereas this is just after the point of initiation, which, yeah, can be confusing.
But it should be the same timing as Black Widow Ally, right?
Yeah, if I remember her wording correctly, I think so.
It's the same timing as Enhanced Spider Sense and the other tree cancels that we've had. This one might bring that question again to the forefront because it's doesn't have to be a treachery. I feel like ones that say something like when a treachery is revealed, it feels clearer because obviously you have to know it's a treachery in order to trigger the interrupt, right? For something that's just when an encounter card is revealed, that does bury it a little bit because technically you don't have to see the card before you trigger this. It works the same way regardless.
All three of us kind of have slightly different interpretations of exactly how interrupts, the sequence for an interrupt goes, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I think we end up at the same place. We just maybe have a slightly different model of how it works in our heads.
Fair enough. So we're pretty confident that this likely works similar to the cards we mentioned, Black Widow and Enhanced Spider Sense. You do see the card.
The card first, and then you decide what you're going to do.
Sounds as good as it gets for Marvel Champions. We should do a live episode where we have people ask us questions. Then every time we say it's not clear, we take a drink.
Yeah.
So, anything else we want to say about those specific cards?
I think so. I think it's good.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so those were our 4 cards. Thanks, Scott. 4 cards that we have done for this spin on a card text episode. Let us know which cards you liked from this preview. We'll link to Hall of Heroes. We'll link to the article. Let us know what rules questions you have for these previewed cards, if any, that we can get to the bottom of. And that is our episode. That's episode 11. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming, guys. Scott, Thero, thank you.
Yes.
We hope that was informative. Tune in for our next episode next month. Thanks to my distinguished colleagues, Theo Rell and Scott, for joining. And remember, when you would rather not read the rules reference, listen to the card text instead.